working with that guy now? Alright, check this out.
Get that on camera.
I hope so.
There are two kinds of skateboarders, cool guys and bad boys. I happen to be both. Skateboards were invented in 1959 by Henry M. Board, and they're the coolest and most radicalicious things on the planet. It's generally believed that the height of the skateboard's popularity was the release of the critically acclaimed film Back to the Future in 1985, where audiences saw the coolest guy ever made, Michael J. Fox, do awesome and radical things like riding a skateboard and playing his electric guitar. However, most of us in the skateboarding community would say that the very peak of the height of the skateboard's popularity would manifest in the late 90s to early 2000s with the release of some fantastic video gaming experiences such as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 and the equally popular and successful Grind Session. Out of all these games, one towers above the rest: Disney's Extremely Goofy Skateboarding. The game was developed by Chrome Studios and published by Disney Interactive, released for Windows on September 18, 2001. It is very loosely based on the film An Extremely Goofy Movie, and by that I mean they both have skateboards in them and they also both feature the word extremely in the title. Side note, An Extremely Goofy Movie is a pretty terrible sequel to a Goofy movie, which is unironically the best film Disney has ever released. You all know I'm right. Although Extremely Goofy Skateboarding was critically panned on launch, many online have come to agree that this game is an underrated masterpiece, leading to a staggeringly perfect 5 out of 5 review from Marissa on Amazon.com.
Superb. This game is everything my 4-year-old son hoped it would be. I have to pry him off it. There's no violence or dying in this game at all. Absolutely fabulous.
Thank you, Melissa. Very cool.
Since I'm becoming a major player in the skateboarding community, I decided to play this game to learn some new tricks of the trade. Who better to teach me some skateboarding skills than a couple of friggin' dogs?
It's Disney's Extremely Goofy Skateboarding.
I thought this was B-movie.
So we've got a few options here. There's 4 game modes available from the start, with a 5th that needs to be unlocked. The first option is Shred Session, and I've always been a big fan of shredded cheese, so that sounds good to me.
Oh, this is expired.
Next, we get to pick between Goofy and Max to play as. Gotta go with my man, the Goofster, on this one. You can customize his gear from his helmet
Safety first.
to his
Shirt.
to his.
Shorts.
Why does he say that like it's a question?
Shorts.
To his.
Shoes.
Depending on which character you pick, the other will be the commentator voice in the sky. So if you're playing as Goofy, Max narrates and vice versa. Next, we pick a course to skate on. There's a total of 12 courses to check out, so let's hit the first available option and we're off to grind some rails.
Ollie the trash cans on the boardwalk. Don't forget to snag the coins and beach balls you find along the way to mop up this level.
We're given a list of objectives to complete. We have to collect 30 Goofy coins, pop 3 beach balls, and knock over 3 trash cans. Disney's Extremely Goofy Skateboarding encourages stealing and vandalism. Alright, let's hit the arrow key to move forward. Well, maybe this game uses WASD? Maybe the options menu will tell me which button. Oh, I see. I gotta hit the number 8 on the numpad to go forward. That makes so much more sense. Thank you, Disney. Very cool. The other obnoxious thing about the controls is the special actions. You can press C, V, and B to perform different moves, but the game doesn't go out of its way to explain what each of these buttons do. Unless, of course, you choose to select the 4th and final available option on the game mode menu and play through the tutorial. I feel like the tutorial should have been a bit more mandatory than optional, since this game requires players to learn very specific button commands to perform special moves. However, once you figure out the controls, this isn't really an issue that affects the experience. But it's still an issue and bad, and I will continue to complain about it.
So yeah, that's probably the worst thing in Extremely Goofy Skateboarding, and I really feel like this is a topic that should be discussed within the wider gaming community. What do you think?
I think you need to shut up.
The general gameplay besides vandalism and stealing is performing cool skating tricks like grinding on rails, jumping, and slamming Goofy into walls, which makes a funny sound effect. It's fun to play around with the controls and figure out new tricks, although most of the time all it takes to perform a trick is to push one of the action keys while mid-air or on a ramp or rail. It's generally easy to perform the simpler tricks, and there are plenty of more complex tricks to learn as well. We'll get back to those later. As I shredded my way through all the objectives and gnarlied my way to victory, Max said to find a key to unlock the next course. The key is right in front of the entrance to the next course, which is very convenient, and I'm off to a rad and spectacular skate park that is dark and empty and void of all other living beings. Let's talk about atmosphere. The atmosphere of a video game can either make or break the experience. You can have a game with solid controls, great characters, and a well-told story, but if the atmosphere of the game doesn't fit with the rest of the game, it'll be hard for the player to stay invested. Let's look at another skateboarding game, Tomahawk's Bro Ice Skater 2. This game is just oozing with atmosphere. You really feel immersed in the feeling of each course. At least I assume you do, I don't know for sure. I just watched a couple gameplay clips on YouTube and thought the game looked nice. Each level looks visually distinct, and due to the speed of the player, it gives each course an energetic and immersive atmosphere. Just look at this level. There's a beautiful orange skybox which gives the level a sunset feel. The player truly feels immersed in this game's world. I think. Again, haven't played the game myself, just talking about what the visuals look like. Back to a video game I have played that has visuals. Most of the time Disney's extremely goofy skateboarding feels like a liminal space. The first level is a beach. Normally you'd think of a beach as a lively place filled with people having fun in the sun or something like that. Instead, the beach level in this game is devoid of people. There's umbrellas strewn about randomly, and there's this foggy haze in the distance. This beach looks abandoned, almost like something disastrous happened to cause people to flee in terror. It's an empty, lifeless area, and if it wasn't for the upbeat background music, I might call this level creepy. So all you gotta do is turn off the music and turn off all the lights, and boom, Disney's Extremely Goofy Skateboarding is a horror game now. Okay, back to the indoor skate park. This time the objective list is to perform 4 hand plants, collect 40 goofy coins, and find 4 abandoned safety helmets to
Bag this course.
This is where I ran into another bump in the whole no mandatory tutorial problem. I didn't know how to do a hand plant, so I couldn't complete that objective. To be fair, there was nothing stopping me from exiting the course, finding the trick tutorial, and learning how to perform the trick in question. It's just not a very intuitive system. If you're gonna make a skateboarding game with very specific controls, it might be a good idea to let the player know how to perform a very specific trick before demanding that they perform that very specific trick 4 times. That's like asking a guy who doesn't know how to cut bread to cut bread.
All you gotta do is take a knife and cut the bread. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Alright, why are you making this so complicated? Why are you such a freaking loser about this, you loser baby? Just cut the bread. That's all you gotta do is cut bread. Alright, look, you just gotta take the knife, you just gotta cut the bread. It's not that hard.
Having said all that, to the game's credit, you don't have to complete all 3 objectives to unlock the next course. You only have to complete any 2 out of 3. So while I think my criticism is still valid, I'm probably just yelling at the clouds over nothing. I am here today to discuss the allegations against me. Normally, I would take my segment in a Plaidly video to discuss some amazing deals at my store. Unfortunately, I'm not able to do that right now as I am being legally and personally oppressed by a liar and a deceiver whose name may or may not rhyme with Bafro Tim. Earlier this year, at the beginning of January of this year, one person seemed to have noticed that some screaming was coming from one of the supply closets at McJenkins' supply house. Police were notified and arrived on that very same day, and this Bafro Tim fellow was coincidentally found inside. He was tied up in the closet when the police found him. How did that happen? I don't know. And for some reason, all of my security camera footage is just gone and deleted, and I don't have any backups, so there's like no evidence of anything. Now, if you listen to the fake news media, people like McJenkins and his ugly store, or Bafro Tim, whoever that could be, you would be thinking that I'm in some way responsible for what happened to Bafro Tim. But I'm not. I didn't do anything. The fake news media is slandering me. I will not have that happen and have them drag my name and my store through the mud. It's fake news. I am pursuing every legal action that I am aware of and that I know about. But that's not the only thing I have to address.
You see, I haven't really talked about this before, but I'm actually the main video editor of Pladley's videos. I have been for quite a few years now. In fact, this video that you're watching right now, the extremely goofy skateboarding review, was supposed to go up in a couple months ago, way back in the day. But unfortunately, due to all of this legal mumbo jumbo and me getting locked in jail for a couple months, but now that I'm out on bail, I decided to finish this video of my own accord. After this video, I am unfortunately going to have to retire temporarily from editing Pladley's content to focus on my mental health and pursuing litigation against ugly Baffro Tim and stupid McJenkins and his ugly store. All the fake people saying that I did a crimes that I did not do are gonna get the justice that I deserve. And for all the people on the internet that keep calling me mean things like farty Marty and keep saying really mean things like McJenkins is a loser, I've got just 2 words for you. Please stop doing that right now. Come on down to McJenkins Supply House. I know a lot of you may be really affected by hearing all of this angry stuff that I've been talking about. So I'm here to offer you a deal. If you mention this video or the coupon code McJenkins is innocent and Afro Jim is a lying stupid jerk, you will get 5% off all of the merchandise that you buy at my store. We're gonna get back to the rest of the video that you probably don't care about because now you're sad because I'm being sued. I mean, I'm not being sued. I can't talk about that. It's a private matter. Okay, that's all now. Thank you for watching. Please go to my store and buy products.
Okay, skateboard dog. The music is pretty good in this game. Have I talked about that yet? I think the soundtrack is one of, if not the strongest aspect of this game. Each course has a unique background track that almost perfectly matches the theme of the course. The beach track has this, oh yeah, it's a fun day at the beach and I'm cool and I'm skateboarding around. And then the skate park track is like, yeah, I'm in a skate park and this is like totally radical. And the carnival track is all like, man, dude, this carnival is like so radicalicious with all the carnival sounds in the soundtrack, and so on. Like I said earlier, without the background music, each course feels pretty creepy and lifeless. So the music does have a positive impact on the overall experience of the game. Speed round, we're going to talk about the rest of the courses in this game so I can stop talking about Disney's extremely goofy skateboarding and get back to more important things. After the skate park, we're at a carnival. Gotta knock down 5 milk cans, collect 50 goofy doubloons, and grab 5 tickets. The carnival definitely has a lot of carnival-like things in it, but just like the rest of the game, it's empty and creepy. And that's the end of the first world, on to the next. Course 1 is a chill neighborhood level. There are some houses, a school, bunch of mailboxes to knock over, and a bridge with a big hole in it. Course 2 is a park and a forest, and there's also a river. I got lost in these woods a couple times. You can also catch fish in the river, which is great. Final course in this world is Max's favorite skate park.
All right, it's my favorite skate park.
I told you. In this one, we gotta steal some trophies and coins, as well as performing some aerial tricks. All I had to do was press a random key while in the air to do an aerial trick, so that's easy and good. Next world, first course is a city at nighttime. Skateboard over some manhole covers, do some vandalism on some fire hydrants, and collect 40 goofy doubloons. Course 2 is a construction yard, and the game actually does a cool thing with the level theme here. You gotta skate around the steel frame and work your way up to the top of the building, which involves some moving platforms in order to reach certain objects to complete the objectives. It's more creatively thought out level design than other courses in this game. Twister 2, the action game, did it better. Next. Now we're in a park. Knock over trash cans, get more goofy Bitcoins, steal picnic baskets. Okay, no, seriously, why is there so much vandalism and stealing in this game? I mean, it's a game aimed at children that features radical music and killer skateboard tricks alongside destroying public property and stealing stuff. Why are they trying to make illegal actions cool and hip? Well, I've got a bit of a theory on that. I guess you could call it an electronic computer gaming experience theory. I think this game takes place during some kind of post-apocalyptic era. You've got all this stuff laying around with not a single other person in sight. Every location in this game looks abandoned. It seems like Goofy and Max are some of the only survivors in this empty world. And since cars are useless without gas stations, they're forced to use skateboards to travel around. They search around the world, looking for relics of the past and scavenging for anything to give them sustenance and to keep them alive to see another day. This game is not Disney's extremely goofy skateboarding. It's The Last of Us with dogs. But hey, that's just a theory. An electronic computer gaming experience theory. Please continue watching, because the video isn't over yet. The final world is desert themed. First course is an empty desert, second is a western town, and third is an old spaceport next to a gold mine, which is oddly specific. The spaceport level is probably the best course in the game visually speaking, but otherwise these courses are all fine. Those are all the courses in this game, so let's talk about the other game modes. Tech Session features all the same courses as Shred Session, but only one of the courses is unlocked at first because this mode has a whole new set of challenges to tackle. Instead of destroying other people's stuff and stealing, you gotta rack up your score, which makes the score in the top left corner go down. You also have to perform specific tricks a handful of times as well, and there's these arrows to collect which require a specific maneuver to reach. Also, there's a time limit, so hurry up Max, you gotta hurry! This mode is quite a bit more difficult, designed for players who want a bit more challenge in their goofy themed skateboarding video game, and I'm up for a challenge. With enough practice and training, I'm sure I can conquer this challenge and show the world I'm the best Disney's extremely goofy skateboarding gamer of all time. Never mind. Next mode is Goof Skate. It's basically just a free play mode where you can skate around whichever course you'd like and goof around and do whatever you want. Not much to comment on this one. It's basically the Minecraft creative mode of the dog skateboarding genre. And with that, we've finally reached the game's tutorial, Trick Tutor. For what it's worth, the Trick Tutor isn't bad. You can pick from a long list of tricks to learn, and the game shows you exactly what to do to perform each trick, down to the exact button to press. The Trick Tutor does the job as well as it's able to, considering it's trapped inside Disney's extremely goofy skateboarding. It most certainly shouldn't have been the second to last option on the game mode list, and at least some of the basic tricks should have been taught to the player from the get-go. The final mode in the game is Soul Session. In this mode, you have a time limit which can be set to 1, 2, or 5 minutes. The goal here is to rack up a high score by performing as many high-flying tricks as possible using this half-pipe in this dark arena-like area. The higher your trick reaches up in the air, the more points you get. It turns out that this is the only mode in the game that allows 2 players to compete, although each player has separate turns and there's no simultaneous multiplayer.
And that was extremely goofy skateboarding. It's got a couple flaws, I guess.
I'm not a skateboarding video game nerd or anything, but even with my limited knowledge on the genre, I can tell that this game wasn't made for skateboard video game gamers. It was made for kids as more of an introduction to the genre. Unfortunately, it's confusing and lifeless. The game feels liminal and eerie, the controls aren't well explained, and the game feels slow and clunky to control.
There's one more thing I want to talk about related to this game, and that's this.
This is a promotional demo disc that was featured in Kellogg's cereal boxes to promote this game's release. It's definitely a product of its time. You'd never find a demo of a modern game in a cereal box, but I used to love things like this. The idea of getting a disc while I eat my Fruit Loops is so nostalgic to me. This game is very limited in its content, only featuring one playable course and a handful of tricks in Trick Tutor to try out, as well as a heavily compressed trailer for the full game. I remember skateboarding around the neighborhood level all the time as a kid, to the point where I wanted to bring this over to my grandparents' house and install it on their computer to show my grandma how much I loved this game demo. In this version, once you've completed the objectives to get the key and leave the course, the demo ends with an ad to buy the full game to experience the rest of it. I remember finding the entrance to the next course mysterious, wondering what could possibly be on the other side of that tunnel. Now that I've experienced everything this game has to offer, I feel like a mystery from my childhood has finally been solved. I finally experienced all that this game has to offer, both the good and the bad. However, in the future, whenever I think about Disney's extremely goofy skateboarding, I'll think about the demo disc I got in a cereal box all those years ago that changed my life for the better, and how it sent me on the fantastical journey of a lifetime to become a master in the art of the skateboard.
And with that, I'm off to depart for my new life as a master in the art of the skateboard. I wish you all the best.
He was a skater boy, she said see you later boy. He wasn't good enough for her. Now he's a superstar, so living on his guitar.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I just tripped on a rock. Wait. This isn't a rock.